the overall numbers are there for Sebastian Bialecki. He might create a chance here.
Game shot in the first
you
leg.
said the problem was the doubles, and does he create enough opportunities? Well, today he's saying he only needs mini opportunities. A 1-2-9 finish from Sebastian Bialecki to kick things off. And you mentioned at the start of the show that you feel this is a sort of must-win for Sebastian to keep himself in the running.
For the want of a better phrase, this performance from Alexander's been a bit murky. He got one of these yesterday. He'd love another. Double top. And an opening win for Sebastian Bialecki. Much improved on the doubles with 2 ton-plus checkouts. He actually bookends the game. Starts with a 1-2-9 on the ball, ends with a 120, and 50% on the doubles is a distinct improvement on what we saw from him on the outer ring yesterday. Still on. Bullseye.
Game shot.
That's the second time in this match he saves the shot. And that will sting Patrick.
I love watching Andy Bolton's face there because he knew what that was. He knew that was cheeky. He knew that was a moment. And he still thinks so now.
Maybe not. But it is a shot for the match. And a second consecutive 4-1 victory over Patrick van der Bohard. That means that Andy Bolton has gone to 8 points in the table. It's a really, really good performance. And the thing that really gets your attention in this game is the fact that he didn't have a 140 at all. He had no 180s either. Everything in the scoring chart was 100 plus.
Look, you require 170.
You said you've been waiting for the 170. We haven't got close to it yet.
You were saying? You were saying?
Shot in the second leg.
I just had a feeling that was going to go.
To 9 legs. Changing rhythm, change of darts, it doesn't matter. He can throw anything, anyhow he pleases. The nuke is here to play it, and it might just be a very explosive Tuesday for him. That's a perfect start. He makes that 95.43 average look mundane. And what we are seeing today from all of the people winning are really good doubling stats, including that wonderful 170 checkout.
Alexander require 80.
Okay. He's ended up on tops after all that 60. Anyway.
And he require 152.
Which is always quite ironic when you've gone that way to avoid tops. Tend to see people use that route when their opponent's not on a finish. So that is just a little nod to Andy Bolton to say, I don't think you're going to do that.
100. Alexander required 20.
I wonder if Alexander's going to do this.
Game shot on the
Yes, he does, and it's 3-1. He seems to have Andy's number so far this week. Oh, Alexander.
31. And he requires
the stuff
5.
of nightmares. The only bright side about that is that Bolton has got 5 left and not 3 clean darts at a double. But he does find double 2, and that will feel like a bonus 2 points because he could have lost that match. And depending on how you think about it, he probably should have lost that match. But he doesn't. He actually joins Luke Littler on 10 points at the top of the table. He's well behind in the leg difference. Oh, Alexander.
31. And he requires
the stuff
5.
of nightmares. The only bright side about that is that Bolton has got 5 left and not 3 clean darts at a double. But he does find double 2, and that will feel like a bonus 2 points because he could have lost that match. And depending on how you think about it, he probably should have lost that match. But he doesn't. He actually joins Luke Littler on 10 points at the top of the table. He's well behind in the leg difference. I said yesterday that I think Sebastian is better on tops and 10s.
On the third leg.
I stand by it.
Sebastian Bialecki.
Because he's hit them both in this match.
16.
Hasn't had a great deal of resistance from Willem in this one. And Sebastian is 2 from 2. A much improved start here on Tuesday compared to his previous campaign on Monday. So he's 2 from 2. And he goes to 6 points in the table. Willem Mandigers will stay on 2 points at the foot of the table and has got a lot of work to do. This time he does the right thing and the execution is up to it as well. That's now 7 legs out of 7 today. That leg difference is swelling. At this rate, good luck, Sebastian. He's got a 170 today, and he almost had a 164 as well.
It just feels so likely, doesn't it? Whenever he approaches the Yoki, just expecting him to hit.
140. Look,
well, I hate to say this, but it's close to his worst performance of the week. But he still wins 4-0. 93.94. It's equal 16 darters for every leg that he's played. But my word, it's just alarmingly brilliant consistency from a very special talent. This is a very un-Andy Bolton performance. He's got 2 140s. And he's got a 120 checkout as well. Making Mandigers feel even worse about the fact that he just missed 2 darts for 2-1 down.
So an opportunity for Willem to save the game here, 101. Needs a big treble, finds it, double 12.
Game's on the 4th.
And for a man who's not had many darts at a double throughout the day, he didn't have a single dart in his opening game.
Can he get another one? There's your answer.
By far the best performance of the day so far from Andy Bolton.
And he required 32.
10 points better on the average.
Well, he's got a little cushion there between the 2 darts. If he just finds the right section, it will just nestle nicely. Just like that.
Shot and the match.
Perfectly found from a seasoned dart player who has got 3 wins from 3 today. He knows how to find the gaps. It was a very good result and a good performance as well. He's upped his performance level by about 7 points in the end to get that win by 4 legs to 1. That leaves 45. Well, that was different. Quick thinking from Patrick gets him to 2-2. This could be the last chance saloon for Alexander. Bullseye. How good is that? That's right in the middle.
Alexander Merckx.
Great game. And I think we deserve one more leg.
No, he's got to pick him back up and try and take out his first ton-plus finish of the week.
Double top. What a game.
Shot on the match.
They were jousting with each other the whole time. It was such a yo-yo match, up and down the whole time. Bullseye. 11.
75.
Wide.
He just set that one up, I think, that time.
Well, that's what he does on 111. He loves that shot. He hit it famously on a Saturday night here. Had the crowd going mad. He did it against Darrell Pilgrim, of all people.
You're requiring 36.
Ah, the old 16 double 10 trick. He doesn't like double 18, apparently.
Game shot on the
but he likes a 36 checkout.
Luke Littler.
You seem a bit puzzled, Matt. That's very normal Luke Littler behaviour for the nuke. Another. Okay.
128.
He went tops for bull.
Sebastian requiring 95.
It nearly worked.
It's almost like he just gets a little bit bored and he wants to keep himself entertained.
Are you not entertained? Oh, of course we are. He's had 2 shots at a double in the match and he's hit them both. One of them's a bullseye. Bialecki hits the bull again. It's been his friend today. Double 16.
66.
He's had 2 match darts.
Look, he requires 76.
Can Littler get out of jail this time? He threw his last dart away out of the board. Well, Blow me down. It's the bullseye for the win.
Game shot and the match.
Talk about winning a slightly different way.
Littler.
Why he went treble 12, I've got no idea. But maybe he just wanted to win the game on the bullseye. Well, it is undefeated still for Littler on Tuesday. Does he get a shot at a double this time? Needs to find 89 more. He doesn't have to go for the treble 19. He could have gone for the treble 17 for double 19.
38. Alexander requires 72.
Knockout blow. Pending.
56.
Still pending.
William requires 70.
So a man who's only had 8 darts at a double so far today.
Mandigas gets 2.
63.
And misses them both.
Alexander requires 16.
And this could be the ideal kickstart for Alexander's day, because that's the first time he's got 2 points today, and he's done it by 4 legs to 0.
Welcome back, just in time for the tie of Tuesday. Behind me, Luke Littler and Andy Bolton are preparing for a top-of-the-table clash. And I'm going to have a quick chat with our top 2 in the commentary box now. Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar have been watching the action today. And guys, this is a huge game. I think the question I'm going to ask you as Bolton looks to close that gap on Luke Littler in the league table is, who is the pressure on here?
I think the pressure's on Bolton. I think how he's played today, he hasn't really played anywhere near his the best of his ability, but he did improve in round 3. And I think the key to beating Luke Littler in a Group A campaign is to make sure that he doesn't get too far ahead. You've seen it in track and field where certain people can run from the front, and if they get too far ahead, you can't catch them. The same goes for Littler, who did stumble in his previous game against Bialecki. But I think if he gets 4 points in front, he might just get even better with a little less pressure on his shoulders.
You going to agree with that, Matt?
I think with Luke Littler, he's probably got a slap on the wrist in that last game. I felt the concentration levels dip very slightly. He was going for different routes for checkouts. And I think maybe that was the wake-up call he needed. Bialecki had match darts to beat him. And I think that could be a nice little slap on the wrist here, because Andy Bolton beat him yesterday, and Andy Bolton poses a threat, and you can't let those concentration levels dip here.
Was that scare then, Paul, just in time for Luke Littler to get fully focused, as Matt said, ahead of this big one?
Yeah, I think Matt's right, actually. If you think about what happened yesterday when Luke lost to Andy, the response was the best game that we've seen this week. He averaged over 106. So I think the case is Andy will be very aware that Luke maybe lost a little bit of concentration and still won. But the fact remains that he got away with it. He thinks that he could have lost that game against Sebastian, but now the response that we expect from Littler is going to be quite seismic.
Yeah, well, it is going to be a really enormous contest, this, at the top of the table. Thanks, guys. Littler is playing Bolton now, as we just saw there. If Bolton can win, it will be all square, but Luke can open up a 4-point cushion. So without further ado, we will get this one underway.
Second time he's left 170. Could have been the second time he's hit it today. That was not in.
He didn't need to go for it, but this is Luke Littler. He's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for the bullseye in this next shot.
He won't now.
I
guarantee you.
Look, the requirement 50.
Double top.
Game shot on the second.
That is also very good. Another 14 darter.
Welcome back, just in time for the tie of Tuesday. Behind me, Luke Littler and Andy Bolton are preparing for a top-of-the-table clash. And I'm going to have a quick chat with our top 2 in the commentary box now. Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar have been watching the action today. And guys, this is a huge game. I think the question I'm going to ask you as Bolton looks to close that gap on Luke Littler in the league table is, who is the pressure on here?
I think the pressure's on Bolton. I think how he's played today, he hasn't really played anywhere near his the best of his ability, but he did improve in round 3. And I think the key to beating Luke Littler in a Group A campaign is to make sure that he doesn't get too far ahead. You've seen it in track and field where certain people can run from the front, and if they get too far ahead, you can't catch them. The same goes for Littler, who did stumble in his previous game against Bialecki. But I think if he gets 4 points in front, he might just get even better with a little less pressure on his shoulders.
You going to agree with that, Matt?
I think with Luke Littler, he's probably got a slap on the wrist in that last game. I felt the concentration levels dip very slightly. He was going for different routes for checkouts. And I think maybe that was the wake-up call he needed. Bialecki had match starts to beat him. And I think that could be a nice little slap on the wrist here, because Andy Bolton beat him yesterday, and Andy Bolton poses a threat, and you can't let those concentration levels dip here.
Was that scare then, Paul, just in time for Luke Littler to get fully focused, as Matt said, ahead of this big one?
Yeah, I think Matt's right, actually. If you think about what happened yesterday when Luke lost to Andy, the response was the best game that we've seen this week. He averaged over 106. So I think the case is Andy will be very aware that Luke maybe lost a little bit of concentration and still won. But the fact remains that he got away with it. He thinks that he could have lost that game against Sebastian, but now the response that we expect from Littler is going to be quite seismic.
Yeah, well, it is going to be a really enormous contest, this, at the top of the table. Thanks, guys. Littler is playing Bolton now, as we just saw there. If Bolton can win, it will be all square, but Luke can open up a 4-point cushion. So without further ado, we will get this one underway.
He has not had much joy in that double 16 at all.
And he requires 16.
6 shots at it and 6 misses. And it might cost him the match. It does cost him the match. Bolton draws level at the top of the table, and now we've got a fight on our hands, haven't we? We've only got 4 games left of the day. As far as our contest is concerned, at the top of Group A, we've got that man with a smile on his face. And we've got a bit of a battle after that wonderful game. Now it's going to have to be the 15 section. Get 3 of them for double 10. And he does. Big dart.
52. Patrick, you're
not a massive miss, but it could still be costly. Nothing in the way. Still got an open bed.
No score.
But he can't close the leg.
Sebastian, you require 20.
He's had opportunities as Patrick van den Boogaard.
That's a wicked deflection. And that's a wicked dart.
The third leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
You don't see Sebastian apologise too much. So over to you, Sebastian.
46.
Which route do you want? Are you going to persevere with double 16? He is. And this time it works a treat. That is a great victory for Sebastian, because it puts 2 points between him and Patrick. But more importantly, he's only 2 points behind Alexander Merckx now, who he's chasing down for a spot potentially in Group B in the top 3 of our table. AI way I. Oh, how good is that?
162.
The old Rob Cross route on the old 302. I wonder if he's going to stay there for the next shot.
60.
Maybe the most famous 302 in the history of the game. 5 treble 18s and double 16 to win a world title. And to win this leg, he's done exactly the same.
The first leg.
Exactly a minute for the first leg.
They record 112.
A few routes for this one. This is route 1.
60.
But route 1 is closed.
40.
Littler for 18 points. Oh, sorry, 16 points. I do beg your pardon.
Game shot.
He doesn't hesitate this time.
Luke Littler.
It's a very, very healthy Tuesday. It's the same as Monday. He has 1 defeat and loses to Andy Bolton on both Monday and Tuesday, but everybody else falls to the nuke. It's a really good performance to end his Tuesday as well.
When you think about it, that's in school terms. It'd have either been in year 6 or year 7.
Middle school. That's a nice dart. It's double 5 for 2-0.
Game shot in the second leg.
That
Patrick
is a
van den
beauty.
Boogaard.
Etiquette, young Owen. Etiquette.
Do you think they'll mind if I go over there and grab one of those starters?
180.
Well, that could be very close to the finish. Patrick has been impressive in this game.
55. Patrick
47 more
47.
to finish on 8 points for 2 days.
Game shot and the match.
A great leg of darts.
Patrick Vandenberger.
11 is what he does. And the doubling in that game was very, very impressive from both players. Willem Mandiger's got 1 darted double and he hit it. But apart from that, Vandenberger, he hit 4 from 6. $60 needed and 60 found.
Game shot
Oh, what a beautiful picture that is.
Andy Bolton.
Wonderful way to recover after a very high first start. But was that on purpose, I wonder?
Sebastian, you require 32.
Up to 8s.
24.
And after all the good darts that Sebastian Bialecki has thrown in this one, he has 3 opportunities to win the match. Can't convert. Andy Bolton will get a dart at double 16 to save his skin.
Game
and it looked like it was going to run away there from Andy Bolton. Bialecki missing match darts. And the tension is going to be building here for Bialecki. The more darts you miss at the double, the harder it becomes. The more it goes from being happy to being relieved.
$60. Sebastian, you require 20.
Not a lot of pressure applied here from Andy Bolton. That is a lovely lie there for Bialecki. Not able to use it.
10.
These are edgy darts here from Bialecki. He just cannot get over the line. Andy Bolton punished the last time Bialecki missed darts at the double. He took out 102. 124 to give himself the perfect day. The clean sweep through the card. 5 from 5. Will not get a dart at the bull.
56.
You feel this is last chance, last opportunity for Sebastian Bialecki.
Game
and
shot
finally, Sebastian Bialecki gets over the line. He was afforded a bit of extra time at the back end of that game due to the power scoring in those front 9 darts. He got the only 180 of the match at the perfect time to follow the 140.
Yeah, what a way to end it. Andy Bolton almost fighting back to make it 5 out of 5, but in the end, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, I think some of the inroads that he made might prove to be quite valuable tomorrow when he's trying to chase down Luke Littler, but you've got to give Sebastian a lot of credit today. Much improved from Monday, and if you look at the daily statistics, player of the day.
Confirmation of the results today, then, and that last one, the game you've just seen, could end up being the most significant of the day. Luke Littler losing to Andy Bolton for the 2nd successive time, but boy did he bounce back with that 4-2 win against Alexander Merckx.
Yeah, that was a very, very good display, wasn't it? I think the flamboyance sometimes took over the mentality of Luke today, but ultimately he was just too good.
Well, let me press you on that, actually. You mentioned the word flamboyance. He did quite a few unorthodox things earlier in the day. We're going to take a look at a couple of them. And just want to get your opinion on kind of what's going through his head when he decides to go for things like tops for bull here.
Well, that's something that Peter Manley made very famous because he went for a 9-darter on tops bull once. He missed the bull on that occasion, but sometimes there are times and places to do that kind of thing. If you're starting to feel a little bit lethargic, maybe doing something that's a bit more exhibition style can just fire you up to be a bit more, eventful and give yourself that little kick of adrenaline. But sometimes when you're young and you're flamboyant, you can just think about that as opposed to the smart shot. It's a bit of a 50-50 call as to whether something like that was the right thing to do, but ultimately he's top of the table, and who are we to complain?
Yeah, and seemed determined to finish on the bull, didn't he? Because we saw him go for a treble 12 as well on a finish earlier on. We can see that here, 76, and just very odd.
Yeah, I mean, look at the score. It's 3-3 against Bialecki, who's missed a match dart. And you don't get bullseyes much better than that, but it's unconventional, but he gets away with it because he hits it. When you hit it, you look like a genius. When you miss it, you look like a fool.
Yeah, is he thinking 36 for tops, or is he thinking I might end up hitting the 12 and ending up finishing on the ball?
He's definitely thinking 36 for tops, but you've just seen one of the reasons why you shouldn't do that, because if you get the single 12, you've only got a shot at the bull potentially. And if you'd gone single 20, single 16 for shot at tops, that's a more bankable shot.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a perfect day for Luke Littler. It was looking like it might be for Andy Bolton. He got the better of him earlier today, and this is his second win in as many days against Luke Littler, who did miss starts to stay in it.
It definitely seems as if Andy has got a little bit of extra something against Luke, and it'll be interesting to see when they play tomorrow and what happens in that game. But if he doesn't beat Littler in those two matches, Littler's in the distance. So it's good for him that he's managed to get those two victories, and now it's going to be a very competitive Wednesday.
Absolutely. We can see how competitive when we take a look at the table after 2 days play. Now, it could have been all square. Bolton, he's going to have to get that win again, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to have to be a really good start on Wednesday. First 2 rounds are going to be really key. And if everything goes Luke Littler's way, he could be in the distance and job could be done by around about 12 o'clock. But we'll be hoping that it isn't. We're very much sitting on the fence. We want to see competitive action. And I'm really fascinated to see who comes through it.
And we've got the subplot as well of Group B. Do you think everybody's still in that apart from Willem Mandegers?
I'd have to say so, but you look at the improvement of Bialecki from Monday to Tuesday. I tip my hat to him. I think he's been superb today. That mentality of his, the real characteristic of his game is that ability to stay focused. And even when he was a bit edgy towards that Bolton game in game 15 today, he still managed to get over the line. And a lot of people can learn from what he does. I think him chasing Alexander Merckx down may be inevitable.
Well, I do hope you've enjoyed watching, and I hope a few of you might have won a few quid today as well, because the MODUS Super Series bet builder did indeed come in, Paul. We discussed it at the start of the show, a treble of 5.5 to 1, basically, and yeah, all of those coming in, thanks largely to Andy Bolton.
Yeah, very much so. I did say that the Bolton-Littler game with 180 from Bolton was looking pretty useful. I actually rebuffed the other two, so it just goes to show how much I know. But the person who put those together, and obviously that's an amalgamation of what other people have thought as well, so they got it right.
Yeah, don't listen to Paul Nicholson, and please gamble responsibly. Those are 2 unlinked sentences, by the way. But we will be back to see how this group ends up tomorrow. A quick one from Paul. Is it going to be Littler that takes it?
Yeah, I think you'll get it, but only just.
9:30 a.m. to find out, live here on the Super Series YouTube channel, and of course back on Sporty Stuff TV. Today, well, Bolton, he couldn't quite go through the card, but he did prove that it wasn't a fluke beating Luke the Nuke.